Well, hello Amy's book lovers, my name is Ash. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the thumbnail and from the light above shining down on me like God himself, reading, oh my god, that's blinding, Stormlight Archive. This is a vlog of me reading the Stormlight Archive and I'm nervous to say the least. This is a huge book. I'm hoping this vlog will be less than an hour tops. I wouldn't mind if it reached an hour, you know, an hour, 5 minutes, but nothing more than that, hopefully. I'm in my kitchen because I want my glasses on for this. This is a serious moment. I'm reading this book. I'm reading this series. I'm starting this series and it's snowing. It's so pretty. Sorry. Is there anything under the dust jacket? Let me see. I haven't looked. It's the Stormlight symbol. Is that a storm blade? Is it the shard blade on the cover? What? So this is going to be a spoiler vlog. I know that some people might want to have like a non-spoiler vlog, and I understand that, but this is a series I think a lot of people like to get spoilers of because a lot of people that love this series probably want to kind of live vicariously through other people. So hopefully me reading this will kind of help you rediscover how I felt about, what am I trying to say? This is my first time reading this series and I am nervous to say the least, but I am excited. I've read up until the Cosmere. I've read Mistborn Era 1. Unfortunately, Mistborn Era 2 out of order. I'll reread it though because I forgot a lot about what happened in it, but I've read Era 2 and 1 of Mistborn. I've read Warbreaker and I've read Trust of the Emerald Sea. I'm reading it in Brandon Sanderson's order from his own YouTube channel. So this is the next one in that order and I am anticipating it, but I'm also nervous. Okay, I've read a little bit yesterday, not much. I've only read the Prelude and the Prologue and that took me 40 minutes. So I'm on part 1. I haven't even read it yet, but I read the Prelude and the Prologue. That's all I've done so far. I probably should have waited to start and talk about how I felt about it and everything, but I don't even know what happened. I'll be honest with you. Not that much has happened. I do know what shard blades are. I do know what... Okay, I have a lot to learn. I have a lot to retain. Shard blade, and then there's the people that can control the shard blades and the shards. Stormlight, people that can control Stormlight. We have Seth. That's probably not how you say his name, is it? I'm gonna look up the pronunciation later, but for now I'll pretend it's Seth. He's the guy that you see in the beginning of the book. He's like the assassin that goes after the king. Very curious about him. That was a kind of cool way to start it. It kind of reminded me of Vasher. Also, don't spoil me. Please don't spoil me. Do not hint. Do not give me any spoilers, please. I don't know anything about the series. But yeah, I met Seth. I also met some of the 10 heralds. I met, obviously you see them in the very beginning of the Prelude, and that's curious as well. They're thousands of years old. That's cool, interesting. But I don't really know much about other than that. Like, and I don't even know what I read really. It was really cool though. I have so many notes. I write down notes when I read of characters and terms and things used. So it took me like 2 hours from just 20 pages just to write the notes down and read this at the same time. So this is gonna take me at least a month and a half, if not more. So I'll be reading this with you. It's gonna be a long journey, but I'm excited to continue it. Now, next one I'm gonna be doing is part 1, as you can tell. And I do know Kaladin is a really important character. He's like the main protagonist. I wouldn't say that, there's probably more protagonists in this book, but he's the one I feel like I hear most about and I am a little bit excited to meet him. And then Shallan, I think I've also heard a little bit about her, maybe? Is she the one that has her hand covered? Like the, there's a certain group of people that are introduced in the first chapter. I'll find out, okay? I also have to mention that this chapter heading, that looks like a Mistborn symbol. I'm just saying, that is insane. I'm not saying it is, it just looks similar and that makes me nervous. The Cosmere screws with their brain. I don't know if it's just me, let me know if you're also one of those people that try to link things together that aren't linkable, but I do that all the time. Because I'm like, do these things actually make sense? Do they not? I don't know. I'm probably gonna be reading around 20 pages a day. I will not update you every single time. That would be crazy. If anything interesting happens, if anything, whatever I want to talk about happens, I will talk to you. Even if it's just like a 5-second clip of me freaking out about a character or something happening, I'll do it. But I'll try to make these snippets not too long like this one is. This is like an introduction. So hopefully I'll make this a little bit faster next time. But yeah, we're starting the Stormlight. You could talk to me about this down below. Start part 1 today and I am anticipating it. I need to have breakfast first though, so let me go and do that and then I'll update you whenever I get to a part I want to update you on. I'll probably talk to you when I get to Kaladin because I really want to see more about him. I'm very curious about him. Hello, it is January 5th, so it's been only 3 days, but I've made decent progress, so let me update you on that. I am going to retire my library edition and now use the editions that I own. I've never bought a mass market paperback before, and I know what they are like. I've had them before, but I've never owned one, like bought one myself. So I don't know what I was expecting, but This is a hardcover, and these are my little baby editions. Isn't it so cute? So now I have one that won't glare as much, at least, at you, but it's so tiny. Oh my goodness, look at the font. It's so cute and small. I don't really know how I feel about having a mass market paperback edition. Maybe one day I'll be able to afford the hardcovers, but it was $50 for the hardcover, $40 for the paperback, and the whole trilogy of this. Can you see the background? Can you see that up there? Can you see it? All of those, all 3 of the first books were $50, so that's a little over $15 each. And you know what? I'm here for a deal, so I have it now. So I'm happy that I at least have a copy and I don't have to worry about waiting another month to get to this book again. Now, where am I? That's a good question. I am currently on chapter 9. So I am right here and I'm almost done part 1. I'm not done yet, but I'm almost done part 1. Now, I should have updated you sooner, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because not a lot is happening. I think that the first part is known to be a little bit of a slog. It's known to take a little bit of time to get into. I've been personally really liking it. I don't really mind it. I think it's actually really interesting. So we're following 2 characters. Let me just talk about how I feel about these characters. So we have Kaladin. Kaladin is the one that's introduced first in chapter 1. Well, technically it's Sen that gets introduced in chapter 1. He's like a 15-year-old soldier. He's bought by Kaladin to try and save his life. But unfortunately, if you know, he doesn't survive, and everyone in his squad doesn't survive. And instead, Kaladin becomes a slave and gets put on a wagon, and he's with these other slaves for 8 months. And we're following him in this situation. It's very sad. It feels like he is in a depressive state, and I don't really blame him considering the circumstances of what he's in. He also gets introduced to Windspren. I think that's how you pronounce it, Windspren. Syl is her nickname, although her name is actually Sylphrena, something like that, at least. And I just got to that chapter recently. I just finished the chapter where she finds out her name and wonders why. So she has a conscience that not many Spren have, so I'm very curious about her. The vibe between Syl and Kaladin reminds me of Guts and Puck from Berserk, and I love that. The grumpy, more serious character mixed with this little bit more carefree character. I love that dynamic. It's kind of like that grumpy sunshine kind of dynamic, and I love it so much. So I'm really enjoying their kind of friendship, I guess you can say. I mean, right now they're kind of still acquaintances, but I'm enjoying them being together and kind of getting to know each other. It's just a very sweet, platonic kind of friendship that they're kind of forming. And it's sweet because she's the only one that's really there for him, because no one else really is right now. So Kaladin gets dropped off at the Shattered Plains, and we see him being purchased, I guess, by the people there. He wants to be a soldier, but then they say he's a deserter, and so they put him to the bridge unit, and he goes into the 4 bridges, and that chapter was so difficult to read. It felt very exhausting just reading it, and I couldn't even imagine actually being Kaladin in that scene. Having him trekking with this huge bridge over his shoulder, and then getting to the end where the Parishmen, anyway, they have their arrows and they're notching them, and he's the only survivor in the front of the bridge, and it's just really intense, that scene, and the way that he fell to the ground and wasn't going to get up until Syl kind of told him, you have to get up or you will die, and she helped him in that situation mentally, and it was just like so emotionally devastating, and also so it just shows that Kaladin is such a strong character, like not even just physically, just mentally strong character. And I love that he has empathy within him still. I'm really hoping he does not lose that humanity and humility within himself, because right now he still has it. For example, there was another slave that was holding the bridge with him, and he went to check as if he was alive, and he wasn't, and he had a moment of just feeling bad, and he actually felt guilty about taking his sandals and his vest. And it just shows that Kaladin is a character who has empathy and humanity, despite the fact that he's really good at fighting. And I want him to keep that, because I know that sometimes books can really harden a character. So I'm hoping that Kaladin will keep that side of him, because I really want to see that. I really like Kaladin so far. He's my favorite point of view. I like seeing his chapters. They're the most interesting. He has the most like action, physical kind of chapters. And then alongside that, we have Shallan. Now, Shallan is a lot more mental. Her chapters are more based off of a mental kind of struggle. Her father was in debt, or was her father in debt, or her brother got them into debt, and now that he's dead, now she's trying to figure out how to deal with this. So she meets with the princess, and she tries to get her to become her apprentice, and it doesn't really work very well. In the latest chapter, she did become the apprentice, or she's at least taking her on as a steward or whatever. I forgot what it's called, okay, but whatever. She's taking her on to help educate her and, you know, do that and keep an eye on her. But in actuality, the reason why she wants to be under the tutelage of Jasna is because she wants her soulcaster. I think that's what it's called. So we see this because she wants to take it, and I'm just like wondering, like, please don't get yourself killed, because you have potential for that to happen. She's a little bit desperate right now because of the debt that her family is in, and she's the youngest sister out of 5 siblings. She has 4 older brothers. I don't know what they're doing, but clearly they're useless, because why is she doing everything? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I am very curious about Shallan. I think that she isn't as gripping as Kaladin because she is not as a physical slash action-based chapters, but she has a lot more, I think, mentally happening with her. She had like a flashback in her mind. It's only 1 sentence or 2 sentences where she thinks back to a guy, Non-Balat. She has a memory of him standing there bruised and his coat is slashed and she's holding a sword. And it's only for 1 sentence. And I'm like, wait, what was that? I'm assuming that the sword might have been a shard blade. And so I'm even more curious now what just happened. I'm literally just still really early on. And so that's pretty much what's happened in this time period. I did see a little bit of what the Soulcaster can do. Jasna made a boulder turn into smoke. That was really cool, by the way. I am curious what's gonna happen. This is how far I am. Like I said, I'm over 10% now, which is woohoo, 10%. That's good considering how big this is going to be. So this could take me a while. Obviously I'm going to get through this. I am excited because it is Kaladin's chapters now. We've had 2 Shallan chapters back to back and I do like her, but I definitely prefer Kaladin's chapters right now. So I'm happy to finally be back in his point of view because I want to see what happens with him, and I am worried about him. I know he's going to be a character that's going to be reoccurring in the series, but I'm still worried about him, okay? Even if I know they're going to survive, it just makes me a little bit worried about them because just how intense these scenes are. So I am really liking it so far. I have a few things written down, so let me tell you what I wrote down. The first thing I wrote down as I was reading this was that Kaladin needs a shard blade. I feel like at some point he might get his own shard blade, and it would be really cool. Although it would also be really cool if he didn't get one. Just having a main protagonist that would be so strong and so important, but still not have that and use a spear instead is pretty cool. I also think that the cover, this might be Kaladin right here because there is a spear in his hand. This, I don't know what this is yet. I haven't met this unit or this house yet. So I'm just kind of to depict what the cover means. Right now I don't know yet, I'm too early on. And then the last note I wrote down was one I definitely think might come into fruition, and that is the Parshmen. The Parshmen are everywhere throughout this book. So right now, every single area I've been to, so with Shallan and with Kaladin, we see Parshmen, and then with Shallan in the city that she's currently in, there's also Parshmen. And they constantly mention how obedient they are, how docile they are, how willing they are to just do whatever has been told to them. There's also a war happening with them in the Shattered Plains. I don't know. I know there's like 2 variations, but they are also attacking in the Shattered Plains, but they're still just normal Parshmen in the unit, like in the soldier unit of the Shattered Plains on their own side, like on Kaladin's area. And that makes me really nervous because it seems like Parshmen are everywhere and it's constantly mentioned how docile, how obedient they are, how nice they are, and they're not treated very well. So they're kind of treated like servants and slaves. So I have a really bad feeling that something is eventually going to happen with the Parshmen, and I wouldn't even blame them considering how they are treated. I am a little bit nervous though because they're kind of like everywhere and they're used as people to help with things because they're so nice and so obedient and so loyal, but are they? I don't know. If they ever were to attack, they are all screwed because they seem to be everywhere, and that makes me a tad nervous. So I am waiting for that to eventually possibly happen, but I'm just curious of what will occur because like I said, I'm only in part 1 still. I'm almost starting part 2, but yeah, I'm on chapter 9. As you can see, Kaladin is alive with the bridges. He's going back to the unit with the soldiers, and then Shallan just got to become the student or whatever of Jasna, the princess. So that is where I am currently. I will talk more about theories and stuff. I won't talk about everything that's happening because that would be really monotonous and you don't really need to hear me recapping the book, but I wanted to talk about how I felt about the characters and how I'm feeling and the things I'm thinking about as I'm reading this, and I'm really excited to continue this and also document it because I want to watch these videos back when I finish the books and just see how I felt about them because that'd be kind of interesting and fun. So I'm gonna continue this today. I'm probably gonna be finishing part 1 today, which is really exciting, and I'll come back to you with how I feel, or if I react to anything or if anything interesting happens, I will contact you soon. No, I won't. I will come back soon if anything like that happens. I'm attacked. I finished part 1. I did it. I finished part 1, and my goodness, what a roller coaster that was. Kaladin's going through a lot right now, but we see him persevere. We see him be technically reborn from the Shattered Plains. We see Kaladin go to the Honor Chasm to jump off of it, but he goes back and he becomes the Bridge Master, I think it is. And oh my god, what an amazingly well done scene. Oh my goodness gracious. I know Kaladin wasn't going to, do anything, but it's still that anxiety, that fear that, oh my gosh, like, it's just like there's that moment where he's in the rain and he's at the chasm, and it's just such a strong mental image. And then Syl appears and helps him, and it's just, oh my god, like my heart, it's just so good. So officially done part 1, which is really good. I think the first part is supposedly kind of hard to get through. I didn't have a hard time getting through it. I really enjoyed my time in part 1, so I'm hoping that means it gets better from this point forward. I know it might be a little bit of a slog for a while, but I'm having a good time, so I'm not really complaining. I am now on the interlude, which is fun. We have Szeth, which is the character from the prologue, which I'm very curious to hear more about him. We have Ishik, no idea who he is, but we have a character that I know has been mentioned very briefly in this book, and I'm curious. But we have, and I might pronounce the name wrong because these characters' names are very difficult, some of them. We have Non Balat, who was mentioned very briefly in one sentence in this entire book so far. One sentence, and that was Shallan's chapter. So Shallan had a flashback of her standing before a man. He was ripped, his clothes were ripped, and he was bruised, and she was holding a sword. And that person that was standing before her, she mentions, is Non Balat. So I am over the moon excited to see who this character is, because he is linked with Shallan, and so I am happy and excited to see where this is going to go. So I'm going to read the interlude, probably start part 2. I think I might be starting part 2. I'm not going to be updating this often. I think I'd be making this video way too long, but I'm having a good time. I just wanted to mention that amazing scene with Kaladin. Oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, I'm going to have breakfast soon. It's 9:30 in the morning on January 6th, a few hours before I go out, and there's D&D tonight, so I'm going to enjoy this before then. But yeah, I'm going to continue this. I am very excited. I'm having a great time. Let me go and read and update you later. They're looking for Hoyd. They're looking for Hoyd. Men with white hair who wear disguises. They're looking for my boy. Don't hurt him. He's our boy. You cannot hurt Hoyd. He's a bastard, but you cannot hurt him. I am so excited. The first Cosmere reference that I'm aware of, the happiness I feel is astronomical. I'm so excited. Hi, it's actually been quite a while since I've updated you. I am a pretty good way through this book. I'm on chapter 21, Why Men Lie, and I'm not going to talk too much about what happened so far because I feel like not a lot has happened since I updated you last. All I really have to say is that the Chasm Fiend was so good. Like, that fight was like one of the best scenes in the entire book in regards to action. It was amazing, incredible, impeccable. Dalinar, I freaking love Dalinar so far, although not as good as Kaladin, but Dalinar is like the second best character in this book, so I really like him. He's really cool. He just had like a seizure and had this vision of the past. It was a lot. We have some flashbacks from Kaladin, from him and his brother, and I don't even know what's going on anymore. It's just so good, so well done. One of the best scenes I read also since this book started was Kaladin and the Bridgeman. He is now the bridge leader, and so he took the Bridgeman and rushed toward the Prishendi, and the scene was impeccable, amazing, incredible. The way that he took the front from Rock's spot and went to the front line and survived. I definitely think there's something that's happening with that because he wouldn't have survived that many times. It's impossible. I think it's Syl doing it. I think that the Spren are keeping him alive and Syl is the one that's doing it. I don't really know exactly. I definitely think that might be an option because Syl has been there every time he's been in trouble. And I just feel like his magic or his powers or whatever he has kind of stems with Spren. That's kind of my assumption. The way that he handled the situation, the way that he gained the respect of the Bridgeman, it was amazing, so good. And then I am now on Kaladin's chapter after that scene. So I really need to read this and continue it, but I'm gonna have some breakfast and then I will update you a little bit then. But yeah, I'm almost a third of the way through, so I am loving this book so far. Hi, what day is it? The 13th of February. I'm gonna speed round what happened last because if you read this book, you know what's happened in this book. So I'm not gonna talk too much about it. But I finished. Wait for it. I finished part 2. I'm on part 3. Let's talk about it really quickly. I wrote down notes, so I don't have to talk too much. Ready? Speed round. I love Rock. Rock is cool. Bridge 4. Also love Bridge 4. They're gonna die. I already know that. There's no doubt in my mind that Bridge 4 is not gonna make it out of this. They just had the moment where they all had like stew or soup together, and that's not gonna end well because The next part is literally called Dying. So I have no hope at all. Oh, Kaladin in the chasm with the spear. That was so cool. From the chasm duty chapter, so good. Him holding the spear and becoming like really entranced in it. Obviously, he has something to do with Spren. Spren are the thing that's kind of like powering him or something. Because Syl, I don't know. But I'm really interested in Kaladin. He's the best boy. He's my favorite character. Adolin. He's annoying, but excited to learn more about him because he has a lot of room for growth. And that is true. Adolin has the most amount of room for growth for his personality. So I'm really excited to see him kind of progress through the story. As long as he survives long enough, I think he has a lot of potential to do really well and has a lot of potential, like I said, for growth. So I'm actually excited to see him kind of grow as a character. You don't want every single character to be likable, and I think Adolin is on the fence, but I think he has potential. He has potential. Dalinar stepped down and gave Adolin his spot. That's exactly what happened at the end of part 2. I really like Dalinar a lot. He's a very interesting character to me, and I find him to be very fascinating. And then we also see that Oathbringer, right, is his Shardblade. And I know now, because all the books are out, that Oathbringer is one of the names of the books. So that makes me very interested and very curious. What in the world does that mean? We'll see, I guess. The interlude. We have 3 characters. We have Szeth, which, not surprising. I also found it very sad to see that Szeth went from, I really hope I don't get the master of someone that's really messed up. And then that happens. It happens instantly. I'm just like, what a bad chance of Szeth saying, you know, I don't really want a master who's a really bad person. And then 10 seconds later, his new master is a horrible person. We call that rotten luck, Szeth. I'm so sorry you're part of that, but you are. We also have 2 new characters. We have Risen, who is a female character, which is really cool. I don't really know much about her. The person that's kind of like watching over her, he used to have the stone that belonged to Szeth, and I don't know what happened with that, so that's curious. We don't know much about her, so I won't talk too much about her. And then we have Axius, or Ixius, whatever his name is. I love him. Introduction of him with like the trash bags and the homeless man and just his personality. I love Axius. I don't even know who he is really, but I instantly just gravitate toward him and I find like he can be a likable character. He like studies Spren and I just like his personality. He's very funny. It feels like he's a little bit of a comic relief, which we definitely need in this book because it feels like a lot of this book is very serious. I mean, we did have the part with the wit talking to everyone and insulting everyone. I think that was really funny. That is definitely Hoyd. That is definitely Hoyd. I think the wit is Hoyd. It's like a 90% chance for me because his personality is so similar to Hoyd's. But with that being said, Axius, other than Hoyd, is a nice comic relief character. So I enjoy his character. I am interested in what happened in the ocean, like that giant Spren thing that jumped out. It had like a bunch of faces on it. That is very important. I don't know what it is, but it's important because why is it appearing every single day at the same time? Why is it making everyone exhausted when they see it? That is going to be an important part in the future. But who knows right now? I have to continue it. I don't know much about it. That's all that happened last since part 2 finished. And I'm almost officially halfway through this book. Now that I updated you, I can read more. I didn't really want to read more until I updated you because I feel like I didn't want to forget everything I just read. I'm going to obviously read this again soon. I wanted to get this done by February. I don't think it's going to be happening. We'll see. I'll try to finish this. I want to get this video up in March. So hopefully when you're watching this, it's March. If it's not March, I messed up. Kaladin and Shallan. We haven't seen Shallan in a long time. I don't think since part 1. And also, we're in part 3, and the title name isn't very promising. I think part 3 is when things start to really happen, and I've been really liking it so far, so I can even only imagine what's going to happen in the last part of this book. I just finished chapter 35. I think it's called A Light to Which We See. Kaladin's chapter. Oh my god. That was so freaking good. What in the world is happening? It seems as if our boy Kaladin can use Stormlight because he had his marks and they had no more Stormlight after the bridge run. The bridge run. I forgot about that scene. Oh my god, I just read it, but there's so many good chapters. Oh my god. They used the bridge and they put it sideways to block the arrows. So amazing, so good. And then now we see him being strung up along the side of the barrack and surviving, and the way that he used Stormlight and how that like face appeared and gave him like the mark had Stormlight in it. But then when people came back to him, it wasn't there anymore. They're gonna see this man as like a god at this point because he survived the storm and he is just amazing. I love Kaladin. He's the best character for me. I love him. Love him. That was such a good chapter. I'm gonna go back to reading it soon. It is currently the 15th of February. So let me go and continue. I'm officially halfway now. I am over 51% now, so I am going to hopefully get through this really quickly because it's already getting so much better. Obviously, Shallan is now back, but she's still pretty chill in comparison to Kaladin. It's a nice change, but I definitely prefer Kaladin chapters right now. That being said, I'm still liking her chapters, just not as much. I'm going to now read more, maybe tomorrow, but loving it so much. Well, hello, hi, welcome. It is March 8th, and I have a few things I have to do. Really quickly, actually. I'm on the last 400 pages of Way of Kings. I am almost at the end of part 3, and I have 1 week, actually less than 1 week. I have 5 days to finish this book. Okay, there's a little bit of perspective in this. I read 400 pages in January, 400 in February, and now I have to read 400 in 5 days. So that's going to be a journey and a half so I can get this up on Saturday. Let me update you really quickly on what happened last. Kaladin had another flashback with Tien, his brother, and he had a flashback of his brother being sent to the army or like the soldiers because of that horrible man. I don't know why they saved his life. I understand that Kaladin's father saves lives, not takes lives, but the fact that he made that guy survive, now he's making Tien go to the army, is actually diabolical. So Tien is going to the army, but Kaladin does the I volunteers tribute and goes with him rather than taking his place because they didn't allow him to take his place. So now he's going with him to save him and protect him. And we know that's not going to happen because we know what happens with Tien. At least it's very heavily implied that he's not alive anymore. So I'm a little bit nervous, okay? And then we also see Kaladin in the present tense after he survives the storm, and he's very depressed again. He has lost hope again because he realizes that the bridgemen are actually being used as shields, and they're pretty much expendable, and they are not going to survive no matter what they do. There's literally no way of survival for them. And so Kaladin kind of just gives up hope, and then everyone in the bridgemen and Syl kind of give him that little ounce of hope again, and it's just so beautiful to see. It's just so nice to see. It's so interesting. I love Kaladin's story arc. It's so good so far. I know it's probably going to get even better, but like I just love the way his character is written. It's so well done. But he kind of gains a little bit of hope once more, and he says, we're going to run for it. We're going to run and get out of here. And I am so nervous because there's definitely people that are not going to survive this. Like the bridgemen, not all of them will live, but I think that at least a few will live. And I'm just so scared. And like Rock just got his razor so he can like shave, and it was so wholesome and sweet, and I'm just so scared now to see what's going to happen. So that's what happened in Kaladin's chapter. They literally are planning on escaping, and I stopped, and I'm just like, I need to see what happens next. Now with Shallan actually stole the Soulcaster from Jasnah, finally. As she stole it though, she heard it talking to her. They asked, what are you? Or whatever, I don't even know who asked, but something asked her what she is. And I was just wondering what that was about. She tries to use the Soulcaster, does not end up working, but at one point she tries to sketch with the guy. There's like a very heavily romance, like it feels like there's a romance happening with her, and I don't really care for it. I don't even know what the guy's name is anymore, but like I don't really I'm not a fan of Brandon Sanderson's romances, okay? I tend to not really like them, and I usually ship people who aren't really supposed to even be together. So that's a concept. She's sketching something of him, and she sees in the background people standing there, and so she starts to run, and she's sketching as she runs, and she's seeing them in the background of her sketches. It's like the best, in my opinion, scene from Shallan so far. It was so good, so well done. It was very cinematic in my head, and I loved it so much. And as she gets to her room after sketching these things, she sees them standing above her and about to touch her, and as they do, she gets kind of like transported to a place with a sea with marbles or something, like little stones and everywhere, and I have no idea what that was about. They kind of communicated with her, and it's a very interesting concept. I have no idea what's happening. I don't think I'm supposed to know what happens, like what is going on. I don't think I'm supposed to know what's going on, so I just like I'm dying to find out what that's all about. When she gets brought back into her real self, she sees blood all over the floor, and she realizes that she used the Soulcaster. I don't know how, but she used it. And as Jasnah comes back to the room or tries to get back in, she uses a knife against herself to make it look like it was her that did it and not the Soulcaster, because she doesn't want to know, obviously, that she stole it from her. And so that's exactly where I left off. It's a very intense moment. Oh yeah, and before they touch her, those beings touch her, she puts her hand out and starts to count to 10. And so that is obviously heavily implied that Shallan has a shard blade. And it's just like, why do you have a shard blade? Like, tell me, girl, I want to know. Because I know that women aren't usually ones that can have shard blade and shard blade. at least in this world. We know that in the past they've done it, but in this era they don't, which is... But I am just so curious as to the fact that she actually has a blade. Now, this wasn't really a surprise. I think I mentioned in the beginning that she had a vision about her brother and she was holding a blade made of... It was pretty much a shard blade in the beginning. So in literally the first few chapters of Shallan, it is not even implied. It's almost on page that she has a shard blade. But I don't know, maybe people would have looked past that. But I already kind of knew that she had one. Although it had been like a month and a half since I read that. So when I read this, I just kind of forgot about it. But it is implied, which is really cool to see the kind of like foreshadowing to this part. But I want to see what happens. I want to see her use it. I want her to become like this really awesome character who just uses a blade. Like, that's pretty awesome. All right, I like how she's a scholar and stuff, but I also like the idea that she could be really cool. I'm really curious about Shallan. It's like she's like wrapped in something and you have to like peel them away to see what her real self is, because right now it feels like she's kind of has this facade and it's making me very intrigued by her. Anyway, that's where I left off. Pretty big cliffhangers for both characters, and I did leave off at a pretty bad time. I do have D&D today, but I have 2 hours to read. And so my idea is to get 85 pages a day, and I'll be able to finish it in 5 days. So if I do this on track, I will be finishing this within a few days from today. And so I'll be updating you probably pretty often now, because I'm going to be having to read it pretty back to back. So I will let you know when I read them, how I feel about it, what's happening, because I feel like the Sanderlanche is about to happen. So let me go and do that. Let me go and continue this. I have D&D, like I said, in a few hours. So let me get some reading in before I have to leave. Honestly, protect Shen at all costs, please. Also, what's this all about? The Oath Pact is broken? Odium comes? Odium reigns? What do you mean? What is this? I need to know. Oh my god. Oh my god. Adeline and Kaladin. They just met. Aghast. I'm so excited. Even though it was just briefly, but still. I like how I just called him Bridge Boy. That's just a him thing to do. Okay. So we just got a Kaladin POV of chapter 1 when Sen and everyone from his crew perished, I guess you can say, over a year ago now. That was intense. I cannot believe that Kaladin was able to take down a shard bearer, and then he didn't want the sword, which it makes a lot of sense because obviously we know Kaladin enough to know that he doesn't want to be a Light Eyes. But what the... My goodness gracious, this is a lot, and I am loving it. Hello, it's the next day. I have read already like 2 chapters. Interesting things have happened. And Shallan got poisoned. I found out that Capsule poisoned her, hoping that Jasna would eat the bread and also be poisoned, but she didn't eat the bread because she doesn't like jam and bread. And so Capsule actually ended up passing away because he ate it. I don't really know why he would have ate that much of it. Like, I understand if the antidote was the jam, but like I feel like that's a little bit of a bad way to, I don't know, whatever, unless he wanted to not live. Anyway, I'm on currently chapter 51. I'm almost on part 3, so let's see what happens because I need to know. I need to know. I had a really bad feeling that what's his name again? Amaram. I had a really strong feeling that Amaram would take the armor. I just really had a strong feeling. I even thought that the person on the cover is Amaram. I have a slight sensation that that might be a thing. That might be a possibility. Regardless, I am now on the interludes. Who is this? Baxil, Garanid, and Seth. Who are the first 2 people? I don't know. Maybe I should know, but I don't know who they are. So I'm going to read the interlude and see what happens. I feel so badly for Kaladin. I want to give him a hug, okay? I just want him to be happy for like 10 minutes, okay? I have no clue what's going on right now. That is so cool, but oh my god. Oh, I feel so bad for him. Oh my god, Seth. I'm on part 4 now. I just started it. Oh my gosh. You know, weirdly enough, Seth has so many correlations to Kaladin. Like, they're so similar in a lot of ways. Anyway, I'm on part 4, called Storm's Illumination. We have Dalinar, Kaladin, Adeline, and Navani. Shallan is not in part 4 anymore. What? Dalinar's a main character in this? Kaladin, of course. Adeline, okay. Navani. Who's Navani? Oh my goodness, I can't really stop reading anymore. Like, I can't stop reading. I can't do it. I'm on chapter 52. like I said, just started part 4. Let's see what happens. I'm sitting in the same spot. I'm going to be sitting here probably until the rest of the video, until I get to the like outro of the video, because I'm going to be sitting here reading for like 4 days straight almost. Not literally 4 days straight, but you know what I mean? Like the next 4 days I'm going to be sitting here for a few hours a day reading. So apologies, it's going to be kind of boring, but wow, a lot's happening. I need to keep going. Seems our friend Dalinar went to the Night Watcher and got a boon, which is not really good because you get cursed. If you get a boon, you get something bad in retaliation for it. So I'm very curious what's gonna happen with Dalinar. He's also getting his flashbacks, and I'm always so curious about those, but we're gonna learn more about that in the future because right now it makes no sense to me. So we're gonna just continue and see what happens because right now, no idea what's happening, but I'm having a good time anyway. I forgot that Navani is the one that likes Dalinar, like the aunt. Oh my god. How did I forget? Well, to be fair, there's a lot of characters, so maybe it's not that bad that I actually forgot something. But yeah. Okay, so Navani's gonna describe Dalinar's visions. That makes sense. I'm so dumb. I also forgot to mention that Shallan got caught, and Jasna is like, go back to your own city, okay? I'm not here for this because she just knows that Shallan is not really a threat, I guess you could say. And so she's like, just go back home. Go back home, honey. Excuse me? Adonalism? The wit is talking to Dalinar about Adonalism? That has to be Hoyt. It has to be Hoyt. Because who the hell is going to talk about Adonalism at a dining table? Oh my god. Oh my god. It's Hoyt. I freaking knew it was Hoyt the moment he opened his damn mouth. Oh my god. The Cosmere, unfortunately, takes precedence over free food. What a mood. What a freaking mood. I love him so much. I love that bastard. Wow. Also, like, Adolin and Adonalism start with the same letters. Does that mean anything? I don't know. I'm still reeling. Sorry. Anyway, I didn't mean to freak out like that, but I read that while recording myself, and I'm so happy. Hoyt. I knew it was him. That bastard. I love him so much. Anyway. Yeah. Let me just stop now. Interesting. So Sadeas isn't as bad as we thought? He didn't make it so that Dalinar was the one that cut the strap? What? And now Dalinar wants to work with Sadeas to get him a blade, and he can take the plate for his son, Renarin? Okay, so either Sadeas is secretly not a bad person, and we thought he was horrible this entire time, or he's a bad person. I don't know which one it is, but I need to know more. Good morning, everyone. It's a new day. I'm going to be in the exact same spot in like 2 minutes, but I'm going to have a tea. I'm going to later on walk at the park because it's like plus 15 degrees Celsius today. And so I'm going to have a good walk. I'm going to enjoy the day. But before that, we got to read The Way of Kings. I need to read at least 100 more pages because I actually didn't read yesterday. What day was that? The 10th of the month. So today I'm going to go and read The Way of Kings, 100 more pages. I should be done this in 3 days. So I'm on track to finishing this on the 14th. If I don't finish it in time, I might not get this up on time. So I'm going to read The Way of Kings, 100 more pages. I'm so nervous, but so excited. So let's go and read. I'm going to sit on the couch again because that's like the best place for me to read. So let's talk about it. Let's see what happens next. I'm excited, but I'm nervous. Let's go. Dalinar is so cool. Chapter 56 was intense. Dalinar just slayed dozens and dozens of Proshendi, and Adolin saved him at the last second. I am starting to really like Adolin, and Dalinar is one of my favorite characters right now. I'm so excited. I have such a soft spot for the Proshendi right now, and the Parshman, and Shen, or whoever his name is, the one that's working with the Bridge 4. I have such a soft spot for him, or for them, and it's so hard to read, because just slaying all these Proshendi, it doesn't feel right. I'm really happy that Dalinar feels something toward him because he's the only one in this book so far who actually seems to care about the Proshendi. And I'm very much looking forward to learning more about them because it feels like they are important in some way. So I want to learn more about them. But I'm about to move on to chapter 57, Wandersail, and it's Kaladin's chapter. So let's see what happens because I need to know. Finally, Teft tells him about the Stormlight. I was waiting for Kaladin to learn about the Stormlight thing, and Teft just told him about it, and he's glowing. It's so cool. It's so cool. Oh my god. Hoyt is talking to Kaladin. I'm going to freak out. I'm sorry. Anyway, let me just keep going. Sigil is the apprentice of Hoyd, the world singer character. Excuse me? I need to know more. I need to know about Sigil. I need more about him. I'm so excited. I'm so sorry. I'm so annoying, but I'm so happy at the same time. I've officially been reading for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to take a break because I need to go on a walk soon and I need to, be productive in my life. But I have been having a great time. I read a little bit over 50 pages, and I plan on reading the other 50 pages at night. My next clips might be a bit darker and not as good, but I mean, it's not like this quality is very good either. I was worried that I'd be forcing myself to read it because usually with high fantasies, I have a really hard time reading and I feel like I'm making myself read sometimes. With this book, I literally don't want to stop reading it. Like I could read another hour or two and I'd be happy. I don't know if it's gonna be 5 stars though. Like it might be a 5 star. I have to see how it ends, but I'm just having a great time. Hoyd and Kaladin talking and him giving him the flute. I'm so over the moon. I want to see what happens next. I'm so excited. But first I'm gonna go on a walk and enjoy the outside. It's so pretty outside. So I'll come back with you later. I don't know, I might have some B-roll, I might not. You know what? I don't really care about B-roll in my vlogs. Let me know how you feel about B-roll. I'm curious if you actually like it or not. I don't mind it, but I don't think it's necessary because it just feels like filler. And I like it though. It is very pretty and I like to have it in videos or watch it in videos. But for myself, I'd rather just put myself talking because I do that a lot and I don't need more things in between that. My friend from D&D, he has read this already, so we're kind of like buddy reading it, me, my boyfriend, and my D&D friend, and he already finished the book a few days ago, and so he's been like over the moon about it, and it's making me really want to read it, so I'm gonna read this and then freak out about him and with my boyfriend, and we're just have a good time. So yeah, gonna continue this very soon, but first I'm gonna enjoy the day, and then I'll come back to this soon because I cannot stop reading this. It's amazing. It's time to read the Stormlight Archive. Woohoo! It's almost 11 p.m. on the 11th, and I gotta read some book because I need to finish this book in 2 days. I don't know why I'm showing it, like you don't even know what book I'm talking about. I've been talking about this book for like 40 minutes now, so why do I have this in my hand currently? I'm on chapter 59, An Honor, and I'm almost done it. So Kaladin is trying to learn how to use his Stormlight. He knows about it now, and he wants to try learning about it. He kind of figured out like breathing in and keeping it within himself works. He knows how to like absorb it now, but he doesn't really know how to utilize it that well because he just learned how to even do it in the first place. So he's kind of learning. He's in the chasm area and he's trying to learn how to use it. We also know that Syl is kind of like helping him in some way, and that if he decides to like get rid of it or not use it or something like that or die, she will disappear and become like what she used to be, which would have been just like a normal Spren or something. Someone that pretty much doesn't know anything, isn't sentient, is just like this thing. And I always feel like Spren are like spirits of people. I don't know. I've had that theory since the very beginning. We are seeing the characters currently in the chasm. Kaladin is going to one of the Proshendi and taking its armor off using his blade, and he's trying to figure something out, and I don't really know what it is. Also, Sadeas also wants Dalinar to, one of the people from the bridge runs, to go with him, even though Dalinar does not like having bridge crews, but Sadeas for some reason wants to do that and have Dalinar go. I'm wondering if Dalinar is going to take Bridge 4. That would be really cool. I don't know. I feel like Sadeas is going to make it a trap. I also don't trust him anymore. I thought he was kind of trustworthy because Dalinar saved his life, but I don't really trust him. Anyway, I'm going to keep reading, and I had a few things to update you on, but I will be continuing now and reading for probably a little bit more tonight before seeing you in the morning. So you'll see me again in the morning in the same spot. I'm sorry. Is this boring? I hope not. But anyway, let me go. I'm actually really excited to be even doing this video because I have like this journal diary of me reading this book, and this might be one of the best series I've ever read in my entire life so far. Like, I know I'm only on book 1, but this can become a favorite. Like, I really do feel it. So I'm really happy to have this in a video format because I can come back to this as like a video journal kind of thing and see how I felt about the series, because I really want to relive it by watching myself read these again, probably someday. Not anytime soon, but someday. Okay, but how did I not realize that was the last chapter I was supposed to read tonight? Tell me how I didn't even realize that. Like, I read that for 2 hours, and it doesn't even feel like it. Like, it's just been so good. I already said this like a million times, I'm so sorry. But wow. The way that Brandon Sanderson writes is so cinematic in my head. That's coming from someone that doesn't really have a really easy time envisioning things in my head. This book just does an incredible job doing it. It's just chef's kiss. I think it's just Brandon Sanderson's writing. So Kaladin climbed up the chasm wall using rocks, using his breath, or not breath, this is the wrong book, the Stormlight. He used the Stormlight to go up the wall and tie the armor and whatever on the bridge, underneath the bridge, so that the next day he can actually use the armor that he used from the Proscendi. And he used his armor as well as the Proscendi's armor to make like this more reinforced armor. And so I'm curious what he's going to do with that, because I wonder if the armor is him trying to like blend in with the Proscendi. Like, will they not attack him because he has the armor of their fallen on him? But I feel like that would make them more mad. I don't understand. Maybe, I don't know what's going on with that. We'll find out soon. I stopped on chapter 60, that which we cannot have, and supposedly the 60s is when things really start to go down. So I am looking forward to seeing what happens next. I don't know, these characters are so cool, and I love the concepts and the ideas and the execution. Just so well done. Good morning! It's a new day. It's the 12th. And it's time to read more Way of Kings. This has been my life for days now. I'm probably gonna do some morning stuff, do the dishes because I didn't do them last night, and get stuff done. And then I'm gonna head back to the couch and get back on some reading. So let's go do that. How exciting and fun. I'm going to be getting to the really good part. Let me get some morning stuff done, some chores done, and then we'll head back into reading because that's why we're here. So let's go do that. Tempeh egg and cheese sandwich for breakfast and some salad. Okay, so his visions are giving him the sight and the ability to speak of a language that hasn't existed, or like translate or something like that. That's interesting. What's going on with Dalinar? I love Dalinar so much. He's one of my favorite characters. Dalinar is up there with Kaladin on my favorite characters. Like, no joke, Dalinar is probably my second favorite character of the entire book. Hands down. He is so interesting. I love him so much. So anyway, yeah, Dalinar can do cool things, and when he has his visions, and he saw the king from like the very past that wrote the Way of Kings, so that's cool. Dalinar kissed Navani? Oh, I knew this was gonna happen, but okay. I'm not even that against it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not that against it. It's actually kind of endearing. It's kind of endearing, okay? It's sweet. I can't even deny it. The moment she was introduced, I didn't really know if I trusted her. But that being said, I'm going to temporarily trust her and be like, this is kind of sweet. And yet, in direct contrast with his thoughts, he felt as if the entire world had somehow become more right for having gone wrong. It's kind of sweet. Anyway, Kaladin's chapter's next. So, we're on chapter 62. I'm so nervous. Kaladin is so cool. Kaladin is so cool. This is so cool. He's wearing the armor and he's like running through he's like running ahead with the armor on from the Proscendi, and they're aiming at him with their arrows, and he's getting like all the arrows on him so that way no one in his bridge crew will get shot at. And like the way he got sliced, but instead of blood, it was Stormlight coming out of him, and then it heals. Like, I love Bridge 4 so much. The way that they're like celebrating with him. Bridge 4. I know that's like a universal thing, but gotta love them. I knew I liked it. Oh my god, Dalinar. Okay, Dalinar and Kaladin are gonna be good friends. Just mark my word. I'm so excited. Dalinar just saved Bridge 4 because the Proscendi are about to shoot at them, and he just slayed them all so that they couldn't. And then he like saluted with his sword. Dalinar and Kaladin. I think what's gonna happen is that Dalinar's son, not Adolin, but the other one that starts with an R, he is probably not gonna survive. And what's gonna happen is that he's going to kind of like take Kaladin in almost like a son, because Kaladin lost his brother. I think that him and Adolin are gonna become like brotherly. So I think like Dalinar, Adolin, and Kaladin are gonna be friends, or like close, like family, kind of like, you know, whatever. I don't know, that's my assumption because it makes a lot of sense. And also, I just love them so much. Adolin, I'm still kind of getting, you know, used to. But Dalinar and Kaladin, I'm just so happy to see it. I love when my characters I love start to join together. It makes me very happy. Also, I do feel really bad for the Proscendi. I honestly really do feel bad for them. But obviously I need to know more about them. And I think that Dalinar is going to be a character that really studies them. And I'm really excited to learn more about them. I genuinely do feel sympathy toward them. So anyway, yeah, that was really cool. Just the way he saved their lives. Look, I'm actually moving. I'm not on my couch for once. It's a miracle. So I decided that I'm going to go take a drink, walk around, go to the bathroom, and just chill, because I just finished chapter 64, and Celeste said in the Way of Kings chat on my Discord that if you read past 64, you might want to just, you know, finish or continue reading because it gets really good. And I can feel it. I can feel it. So you know it's bad when you have like 3 POVs in one chapter. So it started off with Dalinar and then went to Kaladin and then it went to Dalinar again. And that's just a sign. So Bridge 4 now has armor from the Proshendi and also from the Chol or something. Like they have like armor now and they will be bringing on attention onto them so that the other bridges can survive. And I'm just nervous because they're about to go to the tower and they're going to try to overwhelm the Proshendi there. I think that what's going to happen though is that Dalinar does not want to do this. And I think that once he starts to slay them all, he will feel like that sick sensation and something bad's going to happen. So I have a bad feeling about this, but also I need to know what happens. So I'm going to like, you know, move around, walk, just get on my feet because I really need to. But once I sit back down, it's going to be like really hard to put it down. It's going to be really hard to put that book down. It's nice to have a different background. It's just my mirror. But it's nice to have a different background for like 1 minute. I'll be reading again very shortly. I can't wait. Well, look where I am. Back on the couch. I will say it's been a few hours. It's 3 p.m. I started reading at 11 a.m. and it's 3 p.m. I haven't been reading that long. I haven't been reading for 5 hours. But this is to say, it's been about 3 hours since I updated you last, since I've read last, because I'm a little bit procrastinating. Just a smidge, because I know things are about to happen, and I am very wary and nervous. I think it's about time I continue this, and I start chapter 65, The Tower. And take a deep breath. This is gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine, right? Yeah, definitely. This scene on the front cover, like this location is probably the tower because of how huge the chasms are. So I think that the cover of the book is about to happen. I love when the book covers actually have a scene from the book. I've only ever seen that like a few times in my life. But anyway, yeah, Teft is hurt. And that makes me hurt because we don't want Bridge 4 to, we want Bridge 4 to be alive, right? It's gonna happen, isn't it? I knew it. I knew Sadeas was going to betray him. Why did I ever think Sadeas was a good person? Because he was tricking Dalinar. I should have known better. I should have known better to trust that man. We're about to see Bridge 4 doing something incredible. And are we surprised? Because Bridge 4 is incredible, so I'm not surprised. Kaladin sees that Dalinar is being betrayed by Sadeas, and I have a very strong feeling that Kaladin and Bridge 4 are going to help Dalinar survive, either by using the bridges or fighting back the Proshendi, or both. And honestly, I love to see it. I cannot wait. Having like 2 of my favorite characters coming together and working together and potentially having a friendship is making me so excited and also so nervous because the potential of bad things happening are pretty high considering the circumstances, but I'm living for this. So good. So well done. I can't stop. But I will have to, but I don't want to stop right now. So I'm going to keep going. Can you see it? Can you see it? My first tears so far of this book. I'm still on chapter 67 words. I'm not done it yet. I still have like 20 minutes left to read this, but like Kaladin and Bridge 4 were going to escape. But then instead he decided to go and help Dalinar. It's like him with the inner monologue and saying that he has to go back and like him just like working with Bridge 4. It's just it's so beautiful. Like, I love Kaladin's arc. I feel like I'm gonna cry just because of how, like, strong his character is. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna cry more. So, this is just the beginning of it. I already know what's gonna happen. It's 4 p.m. now. I still have to finish this chapter. Okay, let's see if it finishes me first. Oh my god. What is happening? Guys, I'm tired. I'm getting so tired. I'm almost in the chapter, and I just need to take a break. I'm feeling numb a little bit, so I need to finish this chapter. We just got a flashback to what happened to Tien, and I'm just tired. I'm emotionally distressed. Help me. I'm trying not to scream. Oh my god, what the... I wanna scream, but I can't. What a wave of emotions. I'm so drained. I'm so tired. tired. After Kaladin had the flashback of his brother being murdered in battle, he wakes up, sees a spear nearby, and runs across the bridge that was only halfway past the chasm, jumped to the other side with the parishmen, and used the gems from their beards to take back the Stormlight and use that to like regenerate, heal himself, and start to fight again. Oh my god, I need a break. I'm on chapter 68. I am at 90%. I'm gonna stop and then I'll read more tomorrow. I am literally so exhausted emotionally that I literally cannot continue. I will finish with you tomorrow. Literally, I have nothing to say. It feels like what I experienced with Kaladin, I also experienced, because my goodness gracious, I am exhausted right now. So I'll see you in the morning probably. I don't know how I'm gonna feel then, but we'll find out. I need a break, so I'm gonna go and do that. Hello and good morning, everyone. It is the final day of The Way of Kings. I have mixed feelings about this. Kind of excited, kind of terrified, but I need to shower. I woke up literally less than 10 minutes ago, and I feel like I need to shower, so you might see my hair wet in the next clip, but I just need to ponder before I read. It's 8:40 in the morning, get ready to do stuff, let my hair dry a little bit, and then I will start to read again. So let's go and do stuff first, and then we shall read. I'm in my robe, and I just showered an hour ago. It's 10 a.m. now. I think it's time. I'm finally finishing this. I'm so afraid. I'm afraid this is gonna put me in a slump, because yesterday I actually felt really numb, and I feel a bit better today, but if I force myself through a book, I do get numb and like slumpy. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen, but I guess I'll see. I am almost done. I'm less than 100 pages now to the end, almost exactly 100 pages. So let's get to the final books. I'm on chapter 68. Let's do this. Dalinar is so freaking cool. Dalinar is currently fighting the Proshendi, like the 7-foot tall Proshendi that is a shard bearer, and I'm loving it. Look at our boy commanding the freaking army and the soldiers and the light eyes. I am so proud of Kaladin. If his horse Gallant doesn't survive, I'm gonna be so upset, because Gallant just ran into the fray with Dalinar. That horse better survive. I swear, Brandon Sanderson, I know he doesn't care about the horses in these books, but please let the horse survive. I am begging him. Kaladin is about to join Dalinar and fight, and Adolin is alive, and so he wants to keep Dalinar alive because Adolin wants his father to survive, obviously. So things are happening. Oh, what? Excuse me? The Proshendi's talking to Dalinar? What the? Dalinar and Kaladin are together. Finally! You know how long I was waiting for these two people to get together? They are my favorite characters, and they're finally in the same scene together. I am so happy. I think the cover of the book just happened. I'm so excited. Oh my god, they just saluted to one another. I officially finished chapter 68. That was amazing and incredible. That was really good. And Dalinar said he will protect Kaladin and Bridge 4. Sidious will not be able to do anything to them, which makes sense. I mean, if Dalinar survives, I feel like Sidious has to kind of like listen to him, or else he could probably cause a lot of things. It's going to be really hard though for Dalinar not to say anything. I would be so mad if someone betrayed me and then I survived. I would have a huge grudge. So respect to Dalinar. Also, Gallant did survive, and I am very happy with that, because I did not, the horse did not survive. I would have been very upset. But anyway, moving on to chapter 69, because I need to keep going. I need to continue the book, because that's what we are here for, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. That's right! They're alive! They're alive! You thought you got them, you didn't get them. I'm excited. I love the visuals in this book. So good. What just happened? Why did he just give him Oathbringer? Oh my god. Did he really give his blade to Sidious? Just... Okay. Dalinar, please. You're too good for this world. You literally are too good for this world. You're not going to survive it. Oh my gosh. Stop. Kaladin is finally understanding and like gaining trust with Dalinar because of everything that he just did. And he's shocked because he does not expect the Light Eyes to actually care about him. Ugh. My heart. My heart. I'm gonna freaking cry. Oh my god. You will not be bridgemen in my camp, nor will you be slaves. What is a man's life worth? It's worth 2 emerald bromes, Kaladin says. Dalinar asks, and what do you say? Kaladin replies, a life is priceless. Gosh, I love these two so much. So after threatening the king and pretty much saying, I'm going to become your whatever of war, he admits that he's with his mother, and then we are on part 5. Oh my gosh, so much is happening. The Wit has a chapter. Wait, hang on. Hoyd has a chapter, or maybe Seth, Kaladin, Dalinar, and Shallan. Okay. But why does Hoyd have a chapter? I'm so excited. I'm almost done the book. I am probably less than 50 pages from the end. So let's get this done. Let's just finish this. It's been almost 3 months of me reading this book. Let's do it. It's actually been 2.5 months, but still, let's finish it. I'm officially starting part 5 right now. I had something to eat for lunch. It is now 1 p.m. I also put a shirt on. Yes, I have a shirt on. It doesn't look like it. I wear tank tops like 95% of the time at home, so apologies, but I am wearing a shirt. Anyway, I'm gonna finish the book. I am on part 5. Let's get on with it because I really need to continue this. Shallan is about to drop something very important because she wants to go back to the glass world. I don't know what it's called, but she needs to go back there because she just talked to Jasna and said that I know you are a soulcaster. I'm a soulcaster too, and the Fabrials or the whatever it's called do not do anything. Like, we can just do magic, and I'm just interesting. She needs to tell a secret, kind of, or like tell a truth. That's very, very important to her in order to get back into this world. So I'm about to see what that secret is, or what that truth is. Oh! She killed her. Huh? Shadespar? That's what the place is called? I feel like I've heard of that name before. I just got goosebumps. Oh my god, it's Seth's chapters next. Oh my god, I have 5% of the book left. I am so excited. So Shallan is finally going to be her actual ward, like actual ward. Knowing everything now, the secrets that she holds, she's now going to be her ward. But now we're on to Seth. I feel so bad for Seth. I was going to say hopefully something good happens in this chapter with him. It's not going to be good. He never has good chapters. So the king is the one that's holding the oath stone. The king that we thought was a good person. He's not a good person, clearly. But we're in the hospital bay. And he's draining the blood from people. And Seth is asking why he's doing this. Like, why are you allowing these people to, you know, not live anymore by draining their blood slowly? Why are you doing this? Isn't it the chapter headers? When they say, like, 20 seconds before death. I was wondering what those things were the entire time. Someone needs to take that oath stone from that man and give it to someone that's nice. Just make him not hate his life, okay? Let's make Seth happy. That's my goal for the end of the series. It's not gonna happen, is it? But we can try. Well, he's just been tasked to go after Dalinar. No. Just no. Not Dalinar. Which makes sense, because in the second book, if you look on the back of the second book, Szeth is on the back. And I think Kaladin's on the front. So it makes sense that Seth and Kaladin are in the Shattered Plains together because of the fact that Seth has to go to Dalinar and stop him from bringing everything together. Dalinar must survive. I will have him survive. I don't know how. Is that too much to ask? Excuse me? We didn't destroy the Voidbringers. We enslaved them. The Voidbringers are the Parshmen. Excuse me? What? Repeat that? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Bridge 4 is going to become the honor guard of Dalinar. So happy for them. They deserve it because they're so sweet. Oh, I love them so much. He just gave him the cloak. He just gave him the blue cloak. Each man who wears my colors is of my family in a way. The emotions, they're hitting me hard. Oh boy. Oh boy. I got a little teary-eyed again. Just a smidge. You can't really tell, can you? 27 men lived. He'd finally managed to save someone. For now, that was enough. We're moving on to Shallan again. I think there's only 3 chapters left. So there's Shallan, one of either Adolin or Dalinar, and then someone else. I don't know. I'm not looking, but 3 chapters left. I should be done in the next half an hour. Oh my gosh. Wait, Shallan and Jasna are going to the Shattered Plains? All of our characters are going to join together. I am so happy with this. What the? There are many groups searching for this secret. I know of one for certain, however, they call themselves the Ghostbloods. Your friend Capsule was one of them. We found this the symbols tattooed on his arm of the 3 diamonds. Okay. The only reason why I know what the Ghostbloods are and why I'm freaking out is because I read Mistborn Era 2. You're not really supposed to read Era 2 until after Stormlight, I think. So I shouldn't really know this yet, but I do know who the Ghostbloods are and who the leader is because I read Mistborn Era 2. That's why I'm freaking out. So if you haven't read Heir 2, I won't say anything. I'm not going to spoil anything. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. Chapter 75. We are on the last 2 chapters. Let's go. I cannot see the future completely. Cultivation. She is better at it than I. Is cultivation like one of the shards? What the fuck? Oh my god. Literally, he was God. I was God, the one you call the Almighty, the creator of mankind. Odium has killed me. I am sorry. What is going on? Oh my gosh, guys. We're on epilogue. We're on the epilogue. I'm on the last page. Let's do this. Who the heck is this? I am Telenel Ilin, Stone Sanu, Herald of the Almighty. The dissolution has come. Herald of the Almighty. Who is this? That is so cool. I can't believe Hoyd was the end of the book. I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow. I need to just sit with my thoughts, and I'll do a closing of the video tomorrow. I finally finished it. It took me like 2.5 months, but I finished it. And it finished me, definitely. All right, I'm officially done The Way of Kings. And I mean, you probably saw how I reacted to this book, so it's not a surprise for me to say this was a 5 stars. This was the best book I've read of 2025 so far. And honestly, I love that for me. I was hoping I would really like it. I loved it, and I enjoyed my time reading it. This reading vlog probably wasn't the most cohesive, and it didn't have a lot of content other than me just reading and reacting and being an embarrassment to myself. But I'm kind of happy because it's more of like a video diary of me reading this book, because I know that once I'm done this series, I'm going to wish I can go back and read it all over again without knowing anything. And so I don't mind that I have this video up embarrassing myself while also letting other people see it as well. I love the characters so much. I want to say my favorite characters are Kaladin and Dalinar, although I love Bridge 4. If Bridge 4 was a character, just everyone in it, I would just say I love them as well. Rock, Teft, Sigil I'm very curious about, because obviously we heard interesting things about Sigil and I want to know more. I'm just over the moon as to how much I like this book, how much I loved it. I spent 2.5 months reading it. I started in January 1st of this year and I finished it March 14th. So almost exactly 2.5 months of reading this book, and I loved my time reading it. So I'm not mad that it took me that long, but hopefully the next time I read the next book, which is Words of Radiance, and it's behind me, right? Yeah. Next time I read the next book, which is Words of Radiance, I probably will take maximum 2 months to read it rather than 2.5. I want to prioritize it a little bit more so that way I'm not reading it for so long, but I still had a great time with this one, and I just loved it so much. I think this would definitely be a favorite series of all time, and it could technically be better than Mistborn Era 1, but so far it's not. Hero of Ages is still my favorite book of all time, but I could tell that this series could potentially become the #1 spot, and that makes me nervous, but so excited to keep going. I'll probably be picking up the next book in April because I just really need to continue the series, and I am dying to continue the Cosmere and see what happens next and who the characters are, and just all these references are made from the other books I've read. It's just so much fun. So yes, I had a great time with it. If you're still watching this, I am shocked because I feel like this would be kind of boring to watch me just reacting and reading the book and pretty much just telling you what verbatim was happening in the book. I feel like that's not that interesting, but hey, if you are watching still, I appreciate you so much. If you are, put anything that reminds you of the Way of Kings in the comments as like an emoji. So like, I don't know, is there storm emojis, rain, clouds, sun, whatever you want to do, deserts? Well, it's not really a desert, right? It's just, never mind. Whatever you think is kind of reminiscent of this series, just put in the comments below any type of emoji. If you've watched this point, thank you so much for watching this. I do appreciate you so much. This is my longest video, I think, on my channel, and it took me a long time to do, to edit, to put together, and so thank you so much for being here and watching. I plan on doing this for all the books in the series, no matter what like view count or anything. I just want to have this with me as a video diary, like I mentioned a few times now, and just having this video, it makes me happy to have these memories coming back to. So you should see me reading the rest of the series on my channel, and I am looking forward to it, but I am also kind of afraid because I know it's going to go into a lot of directions, and this was an emotional roller coaster. I felt numb, I felt happy, I felt sad, and it's just gonna get better and worse from here. So with that, I'm going to end the video off here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here on my journey of reading this tome of a book. I am really looking forward to reading the rest of the series, and hopefully I will have a good time doing it for the most part. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have some good reads right now, and I hope to see you all soon. Goodbye, everyone.